Hi everybody, very welcome to Mentour, yet another video podcast. As always, I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. So, I've had a lot of questions about how pilots would deal if both engines would fail. Will we be able to land or not? Well, today you'll see. Stay tuned. All right, Elton, before takeoff checklist below the line, please.
For takeoff below the line. NCP.
Set.
Transponder.
TARA.
Strobe lights.
Are on.
Landing lights.
On.
For takeoff check.
Thank you. Timing.
Stabilized.
Set takeoff thrust.
Takeoff thrust set. Indication normal. 80 knots.
Check.
V1.
Rotate.
Get up.
Positive brakes.
LNAV.
Well now.
Come on, eh?
Check.
Back up.
Back up.
Flaps 1.
Speed check. Flaps 1.
Flaps up.
Speed check. Done. Flaps up no lights.
Set standard.
Set.
Standard set, passing flight level 46, climbing flight level 90. VNAV. After takeoff checks, and you can release the cabin crew.
Release after takeoff check. Air compress. Climbing. 2.4. Set. Altimeters.
Standard set, 3 times passing flight level 62, climbing flight level 90.
After takeoff check is complete.
What? Birds? Okay, that didn't sound very good.
Birds on the right.
Okay, so state malfunction, please, Elton.
So, loss of N1 AGT, N1 to decrease. I would say both engine failure
Both engine failures confirmed.
with severe damage. Yes.
With severe damage. Okay, in that case, there is no point in trying to restart the engines.
Agree.
So if you can start the APU, please.
Starting APU and I will declare Mayday.
Yes, please.
Dublin, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Mentor 360, both engines failing. Request proceed back to runway 28 if available.
Mentor 360, your mayday is recorded at time 1924.
Copy, turning right and would request full emergency equipment upon arrival.
Mentor 360, that's all understood.
Okay, I will tell the cabin crew as
Check.
well, because you don't have anything since you don't have any electrical power.
So waiting for
Cab-
the APU.
Cabin crew, prepare for no time available emergency. No time available emergency. Landing very shortly. Okay, that's it. So as soon as we have electrical power, put it back on for me, please.
I will.
And we'll see if we can get back to runway 28. I'm overbanking a little bit here now to get good visibility back.
Check.
And we're quite high for a quick return anyway.
APU on the bus. I got the electrical power.
Thank you. If you can please give me
Bank angle. Bank angle.
the runway 28 ILS, please.
I will.
We're very high for runway 28, but it's the best chance we have. You,
Bank angle.
you agree?
I
Bank
agree.
angle.
Runway is inside.
Take the gear down, please.
Speed check.
Flaps 1.
Check. I will give you direct to the runway.
Yes, please.
You have it, and I will also give you the speeds.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Flaps 5.
Speed check.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Flap inhibit switch to flap inhibit suite.
Flap
And
inhibit.
we can put the terrain inhibitors as well.
Train inhibit as well. Speed is under control. 2,000 feet.
Check.
Mentour 360 500.
Flaps 10.
Mentour 360, you're clear to land runway 28. The surface wind is 100 degrees at 5 knots. We have all emergency equipment standing by for you.
Flaps 10.
Just keep giving me flaps as the speed is decreasing now.
Check.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
Three reds.
Yeah. Flaps 40, please. Flaps 30, flaps 40. There we go. Brace.
Brace, brace, brace. Speed brakes up.
Max manual braking.
100 knots. 80 knots. 60 knots. Dublin Mentour 360 stop in the third part of the runway.
Okay, I'm not going to set the parking brake because the brakes are going to be really, really hot here. I'll keep it like this for now.
Check.
Okay, and holding it still. Cabin crew, stand by. Cabin crew, stand by. Okay, Elton, we are on the runway. We have survived.
Yes.
It's a good thing. Okay.
It was good.
Yeah, we had fairly high speed on landing. Not too bad though.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not at all.
So the brakes could potentially be hot, but what we'll do is we'll talk to the fire crew when they appear on the fire frequency 1.1.6, and I'm also going to talk to the cabin to see how the situation is in the back.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Good. So let's see. I'll talk to fire crew on 1.1.6 first. So your radio number 1.
Already one.
Dublin fire from Mentour 360. We have stopped just short of Echo 6, and would like you to give a full look over the aircraft. We had 2 engines fail and with severe damage, so would like you to tell me if there's any leaks of any sort, and also if how the brakes are looking, if they're hot or not, and anything else that you can see around the aircraft. Anything that would lead up to a need for an evacuation. Okay, let's see if the fire crew is coming here soon. Ah, here they are. Excellent, very good. Okay, so temperature should be okay. I'll put this parking brake on there. So, right guys, so this is what might happen. Okay, now we were very lucky. We were at a high altitude when the bird strikes hit, which meant that we had plenty of room to get back in towards Dublin, and we landed on the opposite runway, which meant we had a little bit of tailwind. But this is what you do. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, there are no set rules for how to deal with something like this. We just have to use your knowledge, be quick in reactions, like getting the APU running, for example, is crucial in order to get electrical power back. And with electrical power, you also get all of the screens, all of the communication, and also, crucially, the hydraulic pumps will start working as well, so it'll be easier to control the aircraft. And then focus on getting the aircraft in to land inside of the airport boundary. And the reason for that, the reason why we stay a little bit high with a little bit higher energy, is that it's much better to land with a higher speed on a long runway and then stop maybe towards the end of the runway. As long as you stop inside of the airport perimeter, it means that these guys, the firefighter, will be able to reach us and help us as quickly as possible. If we misjudge it and we take off too much speed or we go too far away from the airport, well then we might end up landing outside of the runway and outside of the airport. So not only we will not have immediate help by them then, but we might also hit buildings, motorways, or cause third-party damage, and this is something that we definitely want to avoid. So in this instant, everything went well. You will always miss things, you will always make mistakes, but the main thing and the only really important thing here is to get the aircraft back onto a runway or onto a field or somewhere in one piece so that we can potentially evacuate our passengers.
Flaps up my lights.
Set standard.
Set.
Standard set, passing flight level 46, climbing flight level 90. VNAV. After takeoff checks, and you can release the cabin crew.
Release after takeoff check. Air compress. Climbing 2.4. Set. Altimeters.
Standard set, 3 times passing flight level 62, climbing flight level 90.
After takeoff check this one.
What? Birds? Okay, that didn't sound very good.
Birds on the right.
Okay, so state malfunction please, Elton.
So, loss of N1 AGT, N1 to decrease. I would say both engine failure.
Both engine failures confirmed?
With severe damage, yes.
With severe damage, okay. In that case, there is no point in trying to restart the engines.
Agree.
So if you can start the APU, please.
Starting APU, and I will declare Mayday.
Right, guys, so what we've just seen now were effectively 2 flocks of birds that hit both our left and our right engine. And when that happened, they filled the engine up with dead birds, which caused the engine fans, which is in the front of the engine, to seize up. Now, when that happens, both engines will instantaneously fail. They will stop producing forward thrust, which will effectively turn the aircraft into a glider. And also, it will remove all electrical power for a second, which disconnects the autopilot. The electrical power very quickly comes back in the form of battery power, but it will only come back to the captain's side. So that's why you can see only the screens on the captain's side and only the communication on the captain's side will work. Now, when something like this would happen, I would ask the pilot monitoring, which is Elton in this case, to state the malfunction. Now, he quickly found out that we have dual engine failure, but he also said that we have severe damage, and he can see that because the EGT are redlining. That's why you can see that 2 red instruments on the central screen, and also there is no rotation of N1 on either of the engines. So that means that both fans are standing completely still, and when that happens, it's impossible to restart the engine. And this is why we didn't waste any time to try to restart it. We just start to try to find a suitable alternate to land in. Yes, please.
Calling in Mayday, 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 Mentour 360, both engines failing. Request proceed back to runway 28 if available.
Mentor 360, your Mayday is recorded at time 1924.
Copy, turning right and will request full emergency equipment upon arrival.
Mentor 360, that's all understood.
Okay, I will tell the cabin crew as well, because you don't have anything since you don't have any electrical power.
So waiting for the APU.
Cabin crew, prepare for no time available emergency. No time available emergency. Landing very shortly. Okay guys, as you noticed there, we switched on the auxiliary power unit, the APU, very quickly, and that's because we want to restore power to the aircraft as quickly as we can. I also told the cabin crew that they have to get ready for a no time available emergency, and I'm saying that because I don't have the time to fully brief them on the nature of the emergency. I just want them to be aware that something has happened that required them to get the cabin ready for a potential evacuation on landing very, very quickly. Okay, that's it. So as soon as we have electrical power, put it back on for me, please.
I will.
And we'll see if we can get back to runway 28. I'm overbanking a little bit here now to get good visibility back.
Check.
And we're quite high for a quick return anyway.
APU on the bus. I got the electrical power.
Thank you. So at this point, I am looking for a possible runway to land at, and I knew I took off from runway 10, and we have the opposite runway, runway 28, available. Now I'm saying that we're a little bit high, and that's because when the engine failure occurred, we're at about 6,000 feet. This is different from what Sully had when he executed the miracle on the Hudson. He was at a much lower altitude, which meant that he didn't have the chance to turn back. I do, and in this case, when you do a 180 turn, you lose on average around 2,000 feet, which would put me at an altitude of about 4,000 feet or slightly above at this point, and I'm about 8 miles away. Now, an aircraft will use about 3 miles per 1,000 feet to descend, so I'm quite high, but I'm still within the landable zone. I'm overbanking the aircraft slightly because that will actually bring me down a little bit and will also potentially give me a slightly more track miles in order to get towards the airport. If you can please give me
Bank angle. Bank angle.
the runway 28 ILS, please.
Well,
We're very high for runway 28, but it's the best chance we have.
Bank
You
angle.
agree?
Bank
highway
angle.
runways inside.
Take the gear down, please.
Check.
Flaps 1.
Check.
I've just asked Elton to please give me the ILS approach for runway 28, and the reason that I do this is because I want to see a picture in front of me of how the final approach track looks on my navigation display, and I also want the reference speed in order to know how far away from them I am when I'm starting to take the different flap settings. I've also decided to take the gear down in order to add some drag and to get me down quicker, because I need to make sure that my energy level is not too high when I touch down on runway 28, so I can break the aircraft down to a standstill in a safe way.
I will give you direct to the runway.
Yes, please.
You have it, and I will also give you the speeds.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Flaps 5.
Speed check.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Flap inhibit switch to flap inhibit suite,
Flap
and
inhibit.
you can put the terrain inhibitors as well.
Train inhibit as well.
So now I'm starting to ask Elton to give me different flap steps, and that's in order for me to reduce the speed. The lower speed I can have when I touch down, the more safely I'll be able to brake. I've also told him to give me flap and terrain inhibit, and that's in order to get as little warnings as possible. I know that I only have one chance at this because I don't have any engine thrust, and I also know that I'm likely not going to be able to get all of the flap steps that I need out before the landing, so I don't need those warnings.
Speed is under control. 2,000 feet.
Check.
Dublin Mentour 2360 final.
Flaps 10.
Mentour 360, you're clear to land runway 28. The surface wind is 100 degrees at 5 knots. We have all emergency equipment standing by for you.
Flaps 10.
Just keep giving me flaps as the speed is decreasing now.
Check.
Sink rate. Sink rate.
So we're getting a sink rate warning at this point, and that is not a problem because I know how high I am in relation to the runway since I'm fully visual. This would only be a problem in case I didn't have enough speed and the sink rate was coming because the aircraft was effectively stalling. But at this point, I am just maneuvering the aircraft to be able to touch down within the touchdown zone.
Three reds.
Yeah. Flaps 40, please. Flaps 30, flaps 40. There we go. Brace.
Brace, brace, brace.
The brace call is given at approximately 50 feet, and that's in order to tell the cabin crew and the passengers to get into the brace position for a potential crash landing.
Speed brakes up.
Max, manual braking. As you can see here, I was actually manually reaching for the speed brake lever, and the reason for that is that I know that we're coming in with slightly higher speed, and I know that sometimes when that happens, the speed brakes might not activate
automatically. So I'm reaching for them and I'm extending them manually to make sure that the flight spoilers and the ground spoilers on the wing is coming up, and that will bring the entire weight of the aircraft down onto the landing gear so that I'll get as much effective braking as possible. The warning that you're hearing is actually the takeoff configuration warning, and that's coming because the thrust levels are still in the forward position where I left them during the engine failure. As soon as I close the thrust levels, that warning will disappear.
100 knots, 80 knots, 60 knots. Dublin Mentour 360 stop in the third part of the runway.
Great. If you have any questions regarding this, and I'm suspecting that you do, then please write them in here on comments on the video. Give me a like if you like these type of videos, by the way, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you like more of these type of videos, more of these technical videos from inside of the cockpit, well then I highly recommend you to get the Mentour Aviation app. Now I've created a lot of great collections in there. Some of them are filmed in 360, so you can look around. Some of them is with wide angle, but they're all highly technical, and they will show you how we, the flight crew, me and Elton, how we deal with similar situations. And you can also chat with us, so if you have a direct question, well then you just tag @Mentour, and that will send me a push message. So if I have the phone ready, I'll be able to answer you. Have an absolutely fantastic day wherever you are out there, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.